Oh, I was just sitting here, actually playing a video game, and started thinking about the years ago that this strange journey began, or my first clue that it was happening. I lived in Taos, New Mexico, for a number of years, a decade or so. I did fairly well for myself. I had a job, I had an apartment, and I had a lot of friends. We played a lot of D&D, a lot of D&D. Like every night we played D&D. They were actually where I did all the play testing for my campaign. But I got sick, and I won't go into details of it, but I got very sick, and I nearly died. And when I started to recover from it, I decided it was time to go back and spend some time with family. So I moved back to Arkansas, and I was here for a while, and decided I really missed Taos. Let's put it that way. It's not that I really decided I didn't like where I was. I just really, really missed Taos, and I decided I was going to move back. And I got back out there, and I brought my new girlfriend with me. She decided she was going with me, and I couldn't change her mind, so she came with me to Taos. Got back there. That's when it got weird, because like I said, I had done pretty damn well, and I'd made good friends and played a lot of D&D. But all of a sudden, everybody there felt like they needed to protect my girlfriend from me. Because, as they put it, you're that barfly who treats women like shit. Excuse the language. That's what they said. And I went, that's not even possible. I don't drink. Occasionally I'll have a beer, and I don't go to bars, and I don't date. So it would be really difficult for me to be a barfly. And oh, no, it's you. I know you. It's definitely you. And I passed it off. You know how you do. You pass it off and say, I'm remembering wrong, or they're remembering wrong, or something has interfered with the whole memory process here. Eventually left Taos again, because everybody thought I was somebody else. I don't know who. One of my doppelgangers, not that they're actually my doppelgangers, just other quantumly entangled bodies that had a different consciousness in it, who had dealt with his life in a different way than I dealt with mine, and was not me. Got back here, and then in February, not this past February, but the February before that, is when I started to put all the pieces together of what was going on. Because, once again, I was treated as if I was this other person, this other entity that I really began to freak me out. And my wife started having an emotional breakdown, screaming about, who are you and what have you done with my husband? Which, because quite a few people I've actually heard have had similar experiences. And I started looking into the issue. Now, before that, I had already known that I had expected something to happen in 2012. Let's put it that way. I had expected that something was going to happen in 2012. I didn't know what, but I expected that something was going to happen. And I had studied, geology and archaeology, and if you go back into fossil records, there's a 25,000 year cycle that on the planet Earth, there's this period, this very short period of rapid evolution of all the creatures on planet Earth. They like so drastic that like an invertebrate, a creature where its outside, its skeleton is on the outside of its body, and at the end of this very short period, the skeleton's on the inside of the body. Crazy, massive changes. And one of those changes was the Neanderthal became the Homo sapien. Well, here we are at that crossroads again. The Homo sapien is becoming, just because there's no word for it yet, I've made up my own, the MDQB, or the multidimensional quantum being, which is kind of sort of like what's going on with the situation. Much like the Neanderthal couldn't perceive animal husbandry or farming or talking, the ability was always there. It just never perceived that reality. It's kind of the same thing as that now. We are perceiving a part of reality that was always there. We just didn't know. Your mind plays tricks on you. It explains things away, like deja vu. For eons, we've known about deja vu. We don't understand what deja vu is, or we didn't understand what deja vu is. Now, it's simple. I mean, I've seen a lot of things twice. Like, one of the prime examples would be the California fire, which is pretty unmistakable. It burnt the first time, and watched it. Obviously it's terrible. It was terrifying. Those 80-mile-an-hour winds coming off the Sierra Madres and all of that, and it just burned California to the ground. It just baked everything that could burn. And then a couple of months went by, and a fire started in California. And I thought to myself, how can a fire be burning anywhere in California? It already burnt to the ground. How could it possibly be burning? And then I watched it, and said, my God, it's like, it was just an 80-mile-an-hour winds coming out, and then here they come, 80-mile-an-hour winds coming out of the Sierra Madres, and here it goes. And I'm like, holy shit, this is the same friggin' fire again. And sure enough, it was an exact repeat all the way down the line. It was an exact repeat. The number of houses was approximately the same, but there were a lot less people that died. The second time around, which was good. That was a good thing, but then it was followed by mudslides. Kind of brought the balance, how it does that. It finds a balance. And that's deja vu. Deja vu is one of your quantumly entangled selves witnessed the event that is the star of the deja vu. And you're remembering it through quantum memory as you're watching it happen in your reality. Because like I said before, each Earth has its own individual linear reality and time. The ideas are shared back and forth between all the quantumly entangled Earths. So any idea, like the idea of the fire, the reaction to it, all of that, it always happens. That the information will always be there. But information is like someone tells you something, and you can choose to act on that or not. You can choose to do something about that. You can choose to ignore that completely. You can decide it's a bad idea and I don't want anything to do with it. Now, the idea is still floating around. waiting for somebody to pick it up, which means it will manifest in an entirely different way, which will cause slight changes. Even though the same information is there, it's slightly different because each linear reality is its own linear reality and moves without affecting, well, it affects, or without, or by itself. It is its own individual, unique reality. And each one has its own individual, unique reality. Some of the strangest things I've seen are like, well, South America. South America is very trippy. If you really pay attention to South America, you can use it to see that you're in a different place. You know, reality is changing. No, it's not reality that's changing. Reality is not changing. You're just in a different place. So it appears to be different. Well, actually, it is. It's a different place. But like South America, I've seen it in 4 different places, and how I tell. You go to the easternmost point of North America. You go all the way up to the top of North America, and it comes out that way, and you got that little point there on the easternmost point of North America, and you follow that meridian down and see where it crosses South America. It can cross South America all the way on the eastern portion of the continent, like through the tip of Brazil, straight down through the center of South America, across the west coast of South America, or even offshore, off the continent completely to the west, right over the ocean to the west of South America. Australia moves around too. Alaska changes size. Canada changes size. Some things are firm. Some things are very firm. Like, well, the Milky Way galaxy is a classic example of it. It's always called the Milky Way galaxy. It doesn't matter which Earth you're on. If it could be in a completely another part of the universe, and it wouldn't matter. If you're in a spiral pinwheel galaxy and you look out at the stars at night and it looks like spilt milk and you call it the Milky Way, that just happens. I don't know what makes a point fixed. I don't know how a point becomes a fixed point, but certain things are. Continental United States doesn't move. Doesn't change. It's always just like that. Now, everything around it changes. New York Harbor, there can be between 1 and 3 islands in New York Harbor. Statue of Liberty will be on one of them, either Liberty Island or Ellis Island. It depends on which one you're on. And it can either be on the New York side of the harbor over by Manhattan, so that you can take a picture of yourself standing at the Statue of Liberty with Manhattan in the background, or it can be all the way across the bay on a harbor on the other side. It's actually in New Jersey. And if you stand there, you can't see Manhattan from there. It's not anywhere near there. It's just open ocean is all you see. A year, been over a year now. I've had knowledge that this was going on, and I've been watching it. People change. People become entirely different people. People react in entirely different ways. Your relationships with them stay very similar. But I've learned one of those understanding things that comes from it, and it actually has helped me in my life. I treat people without memory, more or less. Every time I meet somebody, even my wife, even my kid, everybody, this is the second time I've met you. I know you, I like you, but I need to learn about you. I need to learn about you. I need to ask you personal questions. And really simple questions. You ask really simple questions, but these really simple questions tell me volumes, just volumes. You wouldn't believe how much knowledge can be gleaned by a simple question like, do you remember? When we were kids and we were being disciplined, was it mom or was it dad? Did mom do the disciplining or did dad do the disciplining? Did nobody do the disciplining? And it can tell you a lot about what's going on around you, who you're dealing with. Excuse me, pick my nose there. Boogers have no soul. Well, anyway, they got a 15-minute limit, so I guess that'll about do it for now. Talk again later.